Welcome back to CLI's Legalpreneurs Spotlight Future 50 series. In this series, we're showcasing thought leaders and doers in legal innovation, legal tech and AI all around the world. Today, I'm joined by Courtney Blackman, who is the Head of Partnerships at Lander & Rogers in Australia. Absolutely delighted to have you here too, Courtney, by the way. Courtney has a background in the creative industries, media and relationship building, and all of that is tied together with a really strong bow of innovation and entrepreneurship. It's a career that's taken her all around the world, and it's experience that has also placed her at the leading edge of legal tech, AI and innovation. We're going to chat today about one of Courtney's many projects, and I know it's one that's near and dear to her heart as well, the Lander & Rogers AI Clinical Placement Program. Thanks so much for joining me today, Courtney, and a huge welcome back.
Thank you.
I love to start this series by chatting a little bit about you. So tell us a little bit about you. What brought you to your role at Lander & Rogers, and what do you do?
All right. Well, hi, Terry. It's really nice of you to ask me to be here today. So thank you so much. All right. So let's see. This is an American accent that you're hearing, but I'm also Australian and I'm also British. So I'm a tri-citizen. And I feel like probably a lot of people out there that I've had multiple lives, which has kept things very exciting. So I grew up in America. Then I spent some time in Latin America, so in Costa Rica, post-university, dabbling in real estate. And then I moved to the Dominican Republic, where I built a back office infrastructure for a U.S. company based in Santo Domingo. And then the largest chunk of my adult life, well, so far, and professional career was spent in London in the UK. And I ran a press relations firm, which was focused on music and fashion. And then a bit further down the road, I was actually the editor-in-chief for a men's fashion and lifestyle magazine, and also a London correspondent for NBC's Today Show in New York. Also as a bit of an entrepreneur myself, so I grew and scaled a couple of companies, mostly in the media space, and actually exited two. Then my partner and I moved to Canada, where we had previously planted some seeds on further creative endeavors, including acquiring and restoring an historic opera house. And for those of you listening in from Australia, there's no equivalency whatsoever at all with the Sydney Opera House. This one was an old wooden structure built by the Order of the Odd Fellows in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And we also ran a contemporary art gallery there. So we were in Nova Scotia for a spell, and then the next thing you know, a new phase was calling, and we found ourselves on the other side of the world, where we are now in Melbourne, Australia. So I was the chief marketing officer for one of the country's largest tech and innovation hubs, working with hundreds of startups and scale-ups across just about every industry. And one of those industries was the legal industry. And we partnered with Lander & Rogers on creating Australia's first program for startups in legal technology, the Law Tech Hub. So fast forward through past the pandemic, and I joined Lander & Rogers' iHub team. So the iHub is the firm's innovation function. And as Terry mentioned, I'm the head of partnerships. And as part of that, I run the aforementioned Law Tech Hub, which enables startups to develop, test, and scale new legal tech products. And amongst a lot of other things, I also look after several of our partnerships with academic institutions across the Eastern Seaboard, including Monash University, where together we just led the first legal-focused AI clinical placement program.
And we've got to jump into that one. I mean, it's an absolutely fabulous initiative. There's so many things that we could talk about, but I wanted to start with the AI clinic and in a way kind of go backwards to go forwards about that. So firstly, you know, all of these sorts of things normally have a fascinating backstory. So how did the clinic come into being? You know, what was the background to it?
Yeah, thanks, Terry. And it was fast, just so you know, it all happened fast. So Lander & Rogers has a fantastic longstanding partnership with Monash University. So Dr. Jacqueline Weinberg, you know, Jackie, she leads the Monash University Law Clinical Placement Program. And she and I were having a discussion about what we could do together that was a bit new and exciting. And it was just as that media hype cycle was gaining a momentum around AI. So we thought a legal clinic focused on AI would be an incredible way to explore the technology and how it will affect the legal industry, both for Lander and Rogers as a firm and for any firm really, and also for legal students who are about to enter the job market. And literally, I think we pulled it all together in about 2 weeks. And as you know, Terry, Lander and Rogers has a reputation for leading the charge when it comes to innovation in Australia. And the concept was fully embraced by our Chief Innovation Officer and Transformation Lead, Marshall Goldsmith, and also our Chief Executive Partner, Genevieve Collins. So with their green light, Jackie and I moved forward at lightning pace, along with Stan Chua, who you know, of course, from our tech scene. He recently spoke at about large language models at one of your AI for Legal series. So it was the three of us that co-led it together.
I love these things that come into being quickly and almost over a cup of coffee. I mean, they're often the best things, aren't they, that come out of that. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I wanted to dive into, I guess, the nitty-gritty of the clinic a little bit more, if I may. And, you know, how's it structured? How do people get involved with it? Who gets involved? You know, what do you do there, I guess, is the other one. and what are you all, because it is that collaboration, what are you all looking for in terms of outcomes and deliverables?
Yeah, sure thing. So it was run like a standard semester clinic at Monash University. So a 12-week program for 1 day a week. So essentially a 12 full days, where the students received academic credit for participating. So it was completely new and a bit of an experiment, but with all the buzz around AI, we unsurprisingly got quite a lot of interest for it. Ultimately, we selected 5 students to participate, and huge credit to them for jumping in and being part of a brand new thing and helping to shape the pilot program. Yeah. So the main goal was to uncover legal use cases for AI across the firm and to scour all of the technology that's out there to efficiently tackle those use cases. And those could be solutions that are available now and capable of being used in Australia, and those that are earmarked for later delivery. So the students got right in there and were embedded into our practice groups. They were working with a mix of partners and lawyers who they interviewed extensively over multiple days. And then those practice group leads would then plug back in with their teams and surface ideas where AI's broad capability could enhance efficiency and productivity for the firm. So that was kind of those goals, looking at solutions that could do that. We ended up with over 40 use cases that eventually got whittled down to 15 to focus on at the moment. And ended up with over a dozen recommended AI solutions. A few were already in our tech suite and have been in there for a couple of years. And then a couple are currently in our Law Tech Hub, which is fantastic to be able to work with them, these startups on these projects in the Law Tech Hub, and then bring them into the fold as suppliers. And one of the key reasons that a lot of the students were keen to participate in the program was to get their heads around AI and its potential to affect future employability. So in other words, would it be taking over their jobs or their job prospects? And at present, I think we all kind of came to the realization that future jobs are safe. But having the knowledge about AI and understanding how the tools can be used and kind of what's coming down the line will give these students an advantage over their peers.
Yeah, but it sounds like there were some other things that came out of that, like I guess getting everyone excited in your firm through these students and through this clinic in a way about the AI and what it could do, and engaging them in their discussions. And I'm sure there's a bunch of teamwork that would have come out of that looks a little bit different as well. Did you find those, it almost like, I know it wasn't by mistake, but almost like those adjacent wonderful things that were happening around this as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it got people in our firm kind of thinking about AI a bit more, and what it could do in their practice groups, and just understanding too that there's a shift taking place. There is something happening, and they just need to pay attention to it. So yeah, it was fantastic.
Removing the fear factor from that, right? Which is
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not scary. There's some scary things you can do with AI, but there's also some wonderful things that can be done with it. So you're absolutely right. It is removing that fear factor, because once you learn a bit about something, and it's not so intimidating.
But I guess for students, as well as kind of looking at the use cases and seeing how they might work, there would have been infused into that understanding of the importance of a responsible use of AI and a number of those sort of things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, both the students and learners, we learned a ton. And again, we're super appreciative of the gutsy students that got on board for this first program. And the great thing too, we did a little survey after to see what the students thought of it. And they gave us a wonderful net promoter score of 9.6 out of 10. So that was wonderful. And some of the things that they learned, I did ask them, and here are some of the top things. So a greater understanding of the future of AI in the legal industry, how AI will affect employability in the legal industry, learning about large language models and understanding the basics of AI tools, and then examining legal concerns when using AI. And some of the things they learned too, or what they said was top of their learning list, which I thought was really lovely and was more about working at a law firm, especially one like ours that is so focused on innovation, was understanding the strategies that we employ when we're selecting software. And how to work with practice groups and employ design thinking skills to attain useful information. We did a talk on design thinking so they could get that skill and really put it to use. And then also how to effectively collaborate with each other. They had never met before and were kind of thrown into this group and had to work together. So that was really interesting just to see what they got out of it, and then what we can do differently next time.
I love that. I love that it's not just the outcomes or deliverables, but it's really, there's a whole context wrapped around that, both from a business perspective, a law perspective, and of course the AI perspective as well. Fantastic, and congrats on that. I'm going to assume that you're going to run this again, and assuming that you are, or even if you're not, what did you learn? Like, what are you going to do more of, less of? How has that pilot now informed the next iteration?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely talks swirling around about doing another iteration in 2024. I think one of the main things we would probably amend is we, effectively we had 12 full days together. We ran 16 expert sessions over those 12 days from people all over the world that are shaping the legal AI space, including you, Terry. So thank you. So that was so it was awesome to have you. So that was quite a lot to put together. So I reckon next time around we might slim down that quantity, and then just focus on targeted sessions. And everything will have evolved anyway by the time we run it again. So it's almost like starting from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blistering pace at the moment. I wanted to kind of go broader, if I may, as well, from the clinic itself. And one of the words that you used was collaboration, and obviously this was a collaboration with Monash Law School in Melbourne. But how important do you think that is for law firms, and I'm going to say legal educators, to come together and support and kind of fashion and develop almost a new type of legal education as you have through your clinic? And I think looking ahead, and particularly in this subject matter in AI, and it has such, as we said, such a blistering pace and such a transformative result, really. How important do you think those are going to be looking ahead as well as right now?
Yeah, I mean, collaboration is always really important. And just for our firm, like we have a deep history in supporting future legal practitioners. And one of our overarching strategies is to promote innovation in legal tech education with education centers. So in those collaborations and partnerships. And we have forged lasting partnerships, with Monash University here in Victoria, with the University of Technology in Sydney in New South Wales, and Queensland University of Technology in Queensland. And as part of that commitment, and what we think is a commitment to the legal tech space, is we've been running law tech clinics. So kind of a precursor to our AI clinical placement program. We've been running law tech clinics for several years, delivered in partnership with a student-run startup called Bottle, whom you know. They're also an alum of our Law Tech Hub. And the clinics are highly specialized fully accredited programs that put law students at the heart of tech disruption. And our whole goal is to help them really understand the way technology is impacting law and to learn how to harness it to enhance efficiency and deliver better outcomes for clients. And what we do in the clinics, which is very unique, is it gives law students the opportunity to learn about, and then they get to go hands-on and actually build legal tech apps or bots, prototype and test them, and then ultimately present them at huge firm-wide events. And they have to solve real-world problems. It can't just be something they've made up. They have to be client-ready, and they have to add real value to the firm's provision of legal advice. And this is kind of fun news. So a few weeks ago, one of the projects that was foundationally built in one of our legal tech clinics won an award for innovation in legal IT at the Chile IQ Law Tech Awards. So it's a SaaS product that equips organizations with smarter, faster, and cyber safe way to manage risk and embed privacy impact assessments into their ESG programs. So huge, like absolutely amazing that it started as a seed in one of our law tech clinics. And then so just looking ahead, I think everyone in the legal industry realizes that AI is here to stay, and it's going to profoundly transform not just the legal industry, but every industry.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of redefining or rethinking about legal education as well. We used to have this almost siloed continuum of academic and then I guess vocational and then continuing education, and it just seems to me the lines between that are now all blurred, and that experiential opportunity which you've offered through the clinic is just so critical kind of from day one, so that yes, you're learning some theory and you're gaining some knowledge, but you're also immediately applying it and reflecting on it and then starting again. And these sort of collaborations to me with folks that are out there doing it, such as your firm, are just so critical. Do you see that change? Do you think that obviously driven by AI, but do you see that impact of or focus more and more on experiential learning as being a positive and something we're going to see more of?
I hope so. I'm running a clinic with Monash at the moment, and where I've got students embedded into our Law Tech Hub, and was chatting with them just yesterday about learning about technology and the future of law, and they've stated it's not something that they get out of university. They have to look outside and do projects or clinics like this to kind of really get their heads around technology and AI and what's changing. So I think as there's kind of more of a pull for that, there will be, more kind of integration between industry and academia.
Yeah, absolutely. Courtney, congratulations on the clinic, and huge congrats, obviously, to Monash and to Jackie as well. It's an absolutely amazing initiative. Thank you so much for taking the time today to chat with me about it, and I'm looking forward very much to the next one.
Absolutely. And we'll be emailing you or phoning you and being like, Terry, can you come chat to the students about what you're seeing? So get ready for that.
Oh, the answer will always be yes. Thanks.
Fantastic.